as always, with your fabulous host plus Keto.
Yo.
We got Willie here, and we've got Keto, and this episode is going to be awesome. But I'm going to let them say hey before I get into this episode.
Mm-hmm. Go
What's going
for
on,
it,
guys? Everybody
Keto.
good?
Hey, I just want to say thank you. I'm in touching base with you guys from Ithaca, New York at Spruce Road Campground. We just got done with Cops and Campers 2025, so I'll tell you guys a little bit about that later on. So
Yeah, I'm actually excited to hear all about that. There's also another thing before we jump. Hold on, I want to try this one more time. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm sorry, I'm not on Instagram tonight, so I apologize for anybody that's trying to watch it through there. But anyway, a while back we had Chris on here, and guess what came while I was gone? His book has come, so I'm going to be starting to read it immediately, and I'll let you guys know. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to be home in like 2 weeks, so I haven't gotten to read it yet. But
hey, he sent us one too for the event, so shout out
really?
to him. Yeah, so shout out to him. Yeah,
That's awesome, man.
What's his book's name again? I'm gonna type it in.
After Escobar.
Ah, yeah. Okay.
Right there. Yeah.
Yep.
Very
All
excited
right.
to start
Loading. We still got to put out some stuff for Chris here too. Also, we have some media for him from when he was on the show.
Excellent. All right, you guys ready for this? So, like I said, it's nothing crazy. But for anybody that doesn't know, I was in LA for this past week. First time I've been in LA, I think, since 2007. It's a lot different than what I remember, to say the least.
Yeah.
And when I was there in 2007, I was just there to play football, so it was an in and out type trip, so I didn't see a lot of it. But anyway, so I went out there originally to go on a show called Law by Mike, which if you haven't checked his guy's YouTube out, definitely check it out. The guy's hilarious. It's awesome. And I had a tremendous time on his show. Like it was a blast, and I'll be posting stuff when the episode's ready to come out to make sure everybody gets to see it. But it's going to be hilarious, and it was a lot of fun. But I'll leave it at that for now until it comes out. So, but while I'm there are some other, besides Law by Mike, there are some other influencers there. And like, I don't know if I've ever met a quote unquote actual influencer. So Law by Mike is in the millions, well into the millions of followers. And then this guy, Dijon, is also well into the millions. And Dijon, at the end of the show, he comes up to me. He's like, "What are you doing the rest of the week?" And at first, I'm like, "Well, I fly out tomorrow morning. Got to, headed back to Miami." And he goes, "Are you flexible?" Maybe.
He does yoga.
I just touch my toes. And he goes, "You want to know if you want to come with me for the week?" I'm like, I was like, "Well, what are we going to be doing?" And he goes, his YouTube channel. Now, keep in mind, I humbly admit I am, even as I'm on YouTube, so this is going to sound horrible, I'm not the most educated in YouTube, of YouTube personalities, YouTube influencers, all of that. I am not the person to go to get these answers. To give you a perfect example, so going on the show Law by Mike, I honestly had no idea who he was. I talked to the casting person who wanted me to come out and was like, "Yeah, sounds like it'd be fun. I'll do it." I'm talking on the phone. When I'm in Atlanta, I'm talking on the phone to some other people from LA about a show I'm doing with them. And my kid is listening, and I say, "Hey, I'm sorry I'm not going to be able to see you guys, though." "Oh, hey, Abby, glad you could join us. Thank you." Sometimes I say, "Hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to be in LA. It's a business trip in and out. I'm not going to be able to meet up with you guys. I'm doing some show called Law by Mike." My kid's eyes, get big. Next thing I know, he's on his phone, and while I'm still talking to these guys, he's showing me his phone. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy, whatever. So I get off, and he goes, "This guy's huge." So my kid's all excited about it all of a sudden. And get done with that one. And so doing the show, these other influencers are on the show. There's two of them. Another guy named Tyler Blanchard, if I pronounced his name right, and then Dijon. And so I have no idea who either one of them is. So when I'm not on set, back in the green room, text my son, "Hey, who's so-and-so, who's so-and-so?" "Oh my gosh, Dijon is this, big guy, big personality. He used to do pranks on his YouTube channel. And then kind of had his own, for lack of a better word, coming to Jesus. Wanted to dedicate his life to Jesus, and stepped away from YouTube for a little bit. And during that time, he saw some things on these guys that go out and catch children predators. Uh, that they use. There's this whole network of decoys that they use, and they go out and they target these predators, and then they meet up with them, and basically or have them arrested. They then call the police and give them all the evidence that they've created, and see if the police will lock them up. So at the end of the show, he's comes up to me. You want to follow me around for a couple of days? Well, what are you going to be doing? Well, catching child predators.
Wow.
So I was like, huh. I going after kids, it was kind of a no-brainer for. Like, I answered quick. I was like, yeah, I'm in. Let me just make sure I can get everything taken care of. Wasn't a problem. So I go with him, and I'm super glad I did. Had an excellent time. He and his film guy are just incredible people. I expected to hear certain answers from him, got different answers. So, when I asked, I bet, the law enforcement community, that you have a lot of friends and stuff like that in there with that because of the way you're doing this and helping them out. And that is not the response I got. Some departments are great and we'll work with them. And I mean, they've definitely been able to put some good charges. When I was out with them, we had 2 that got arrested and 1 that took off, but will end up being arrested later on.
So you got to arrest some child predators?
So I didn't, like, the police came and did the arresting, but yeah, like, we went up and so he has his decoys. Like the first one we did, he had a decoy, basically a 5, 7, and 13-year-old. The people weren't actually those ages, just for the record, but they're doing chat logs and this kind of stuff with the guy and creating evidence that this is what this guy is doing. And let me tell you, some of the stuff that, like, this guy said, pictures he sent, that kind of thing, it's beyond disturbing. It is. So anyway, and then if he stays in the chats, keeps going for days, whatever, that's when you progress to, all right, let's meet up, and then they'll schedule that. And then whenever the meet's supposed to take place, the guy comes to the meet, and that's where, I always pronounce his name wrong, so I apologize because I know I'm saying it wrong now. Dijon will meet him right there, right? And talk to him on the spot. And he does it the same way, I did most of my interviews and everything like that. It's very tactful. Well, it's very, in terms of getting the most reliable and honest information, is the best way to go about it. Like, he has cause he befriends him on the spot, but he treats him like a human being and talks to him in a calm and good manner. So he will get them to confess to usually a lot of times. So that's kind of the gist of what he does. And he's been to, I think it's close to 20 states that he's done this in. He's at 86 coming up on, or now it's over that. I guess now it's like 88, 89 arrests.
Wow.
Doing this exactly. And it's really, really pushing it forward. I asked, when I asked him if he's got a lot of friends and all that and how the police feel about it, he said there are some departments, some police officers that are very strongly against this and believe that you can't do this unless you're a cop. So this is where I have the questions coming in as to what you guys feel about it. Like, looking back at when I was on the job, I do see a lot of times where you're like, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we should be doing, kind of thing. So I can see where the mentality comes from, but I also, the more you're in the job, the more you learn very fast that we are a very small number. And if we are the only ones doing a lot of the work, then there's no dent, there's no progress, and there's a lot more victims, is the way I see it. Kind of curious of what your guys' take on what they do is. Both of you. I want to see where.
All right, let's see what the fireman's take is on this.
Fireman's gonna say protect lives and save property in that order. So if we gotta have
Dexter and go. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. We're calling Dexter. Where's Dexter at? We need to.
He just got resurged, right? He's back.
Yeah, he's resurging. I watched the first 2 episodes. Heck yeah, man. But yeah, I'd say, I mean, that's great. There's abundance mentality would say that we need more help because there's not enough of us to help with this. A scarcity mentality sounds like somebody's job. that they're worried about, or something else political or something going on, like we're not doing enough, or I don't know. That feels kind of icky. Like, why wouldn't we have that? But then have some oversight though, or have some connection to law enforcement. You know what I mean? So you're not doing it on your own. You're working in tandem. But I think it's great, man. I want to encourage him because that must be a really hard place to be. But 86 child predators are now
88,
off this
88 or 89.
88. Why wouldn't we want that?
And that's,
Yeah.
I fall under that.
That's what I say.
The reasons he's been given in the past are he's not trained in evidence collection, that kind of thing. But his evidence has already stood up in court that he's collecting, and it's the same way we do. It's not because you're not collecting quote unquote physical evidence, right? You're not processing.
Yeah.
It's all electronic for the most part, and then him showing up. So there is not that element where you need a different type of training. It's not intense evidence, if you will, or anything like that. All right,
And
Keto,
help them out.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah.
So it sounds like it's either, are they handing then the cases over to the cop? Because I remember when I did retail security and I would bust an employee stealing thousands of dollars, the local cops, and it was my own department that ended up getting hired on later on. They hated it, man, because then they had to file these charges and do all the reports. And if it's a felony, arrest.
That's
and
what it is.
it was almost like they didn't get to do anything. Not that they would have been standing there catching shoplifters anyways, you know. I think, you know, if you can have civilians doing traffic crashes for accidents to help the insurance companies, why can't we have more people helping catch child predators? It just seems like it's a natural way to go. You know, you have neighborhood watch, you know.
You know, it's funny. That's the one I thought of was neighborhood watch. I was like, well, it's kind of the same thing, but on an internet level.
Yeah, these guys are freaking angels, man. When I was in evidence, some of the photos I had to make for court, and you don't want to make that stuff, man. You think I forgot about that stuff, man? Oh,
so that
stuff.
It's funny you start going into that direction because that was going to be like there's a couple more parts of this, and that I was going to lead into that. So what I think, one thing that I did notice when I was riding with them, and you know I talked to John about this, they haven't gone through any tactics training, right? So when it comes to safety out there, I was concerned. There's definite room for improvement there, and rightfully so, right? I mean, went through the academy, went through months and months of training. So there's going to be a different level. And he was very receptive. I told him a couple of things. Like one guy agreed to go to the police station with us, right? That's how good John is. He convinced the guy that he needed to go ahead and get it out from under and go to the police station. So he does a very good job of making sure multiple times. So you want to get in the car with us and you want to stay, he said it multiple times. So there was absolutely all recorded. There's no issue with him. Like, oh yeah, okay. He said it multiple times. You can definitely tell he wanted to. He had come on a push scooter and he put that in the back. Well, the guy had like a belly band on. What do you call those things? The little things you keep in your belly. You can hold stuff in. I can't remember what they're called.
Fanny pack?
Fanny pack. That's it.
Man, you got me to say that because of my age. All right.
He's got one on. He's got two of them.
Yeah, I guarantee he's wearing one right now. Whatever.
In the front, too.
He's got one in the back, one in the front.
Yep.
No, I'm not a fireman.
Firemen just have like everywhere. You have all pockets be full, fanny pack, side pack, head pack. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. So, Deshaun puts him in the back of the car with him. I'm driving, and the camera guy's in the front passenger seat. Well, Eric, I'm sure you know as well as I know. Like, I was sweating bullets, and I hate having a perp in the back seat when I'm in the front seat driving. And there's not a shield and all that good stuff, and the guy's not in handcuffs. So, and he still had his fanny pack. So when that was over, I talked to him and said, hey, man, just for your future, he puts the scooter back there. You probably would want to say, hey, why don't we go ahead and put your fanny pack back there too? Are you cool with that? We'll leave it right back here with your scooter. That way, whatever's in that fanny pack isn't in reach and could get us killed. And then the other part of that also being, let's put him in the front seat. And he asked questions like, because he wanted to learn. He's like, well, why would I do that? And I was like, all right, if he's in the front seat, two people in the back seat can lean forward and grab him and deal with him a lot better than if he's in the back seat. It's one-on-one, right? Let's play the odds to our number, or let's play the odds to our favor and put him up there, and we'll all be able to deal with him that way if something goes wrong. So he was definitely on board with that. And then the other thing I talked to him about, and I'm actually sending him, he has to carry a trauma kit with him at all times. Like in today's day, there's no, you need a and he asked questions like, you know, how do you use a tourniquet? And I said, I will teach you everything like that. Chest seal, all of it. Like you've got to be prepared. And just some simple things like that, knowing where the closest hospital is and, you know, what your best options, that stuff. So I would think,
cool.
I'm curious of why, if I were a police department and I know they're doing this in my town or whatever, or really like, hey man, you know, love what you're doing. Maybe we can teach you some tactic stuff and work with you a little bit on that end to make sure you don't get hurt. Because that would be the only area, like that's the area that I think there could be some improvement. The other stuff obviously is going great. So I don't understand the hesitation necessarily by police departments. Instead of trying to get them to quit doing something that's helpful, teach them to do it safe. Why not?
Exactly. Help them out, man. Expand your reach.
We used to meet with different, when I was even loss prevention, we would meet with a chief of police or the mall security and, you know, become all one trying to, whether we're stopping grab and runs or, you know, smashing grabs or something like that. So why wouldn't, does he reach out to these local chiefs and the state attorney's office, and is there something that they could advise in on how he could do it better, maybe, and maybe that the paperwork's got to be tighter? I don't know. They're losing cases and stuff like that.
Yeah, the cases have been solid, and I think that's helping him. Now, here's one issue that does come in that is hurting him and some of the other guys that are doing this, that are doing it the right way. You have some idiots, and I strongly mean idiots, that are doing the same thing, except when the perp shows up or the predator, they beat the crap out of them and film it and then run off. And they think, and some of them are becoming influencers doing this. Putting it out there right now, if you're doing that, you are one of the dumbest people on this planet, period. And congratulations, what you've done has gotten more kids hurt. And it infuriates me because there's no prosecution. You made this guy a victim instead of the scumbag he is. And he's going to go out there and hurt more kids because you wanted a bunch of people to follow you. I hate it. I can't stand it. Anybody that's doing that, zero respect for him, period.
Yeah, and you're just making it worse. I mean, you know, like you're saying, you know, and yeah, the vigilante stuff, I guess, is what the real issue is, you know, taking a lot. And what if these guys are going to be carrying? I mean, they're not all just little, like, you know, scientist guys hiding in the basement. You know, a lot of these guys are tough dudes. And what are you going to do in that situation? You know, if he's armed.
Exactly. And so, you know, Dijon he's had a gun pulled on him by a father of one of the suspects or one of the perps. And it's kind of like, we talked about, like, because the last guy we were doing, you know, looking at his Instagram and all this, claimed to be a boxer, bulking up to 260 and stuff like that. And so I told him, I said, all right, you understand when we do this, because I was helping him as a security. And I said, if he squares up and he's an actual boxer, he's getting a punch on you before I can block it. Like, I am not going to be able to step up and prevent that. So that's on you. You've got to prevent that. Or do
the first one.
It's not going to be me. That first blow, second blow, I'll be there by then, and it's game on at that point. But you got to be ready for that first one.
Might have to take a shot.
Yeah, exactly.
Survive it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
how do we support people like that are standing out there trying to do something good?
So, I mean, he's gaining more and more support. I think things that we're in a little bit of a position. So here's the thing that, Eric, you actually brought it up from your own personal experience. And that is, I'm worried in the future when number one, you have all these decoys that are doing these chat logs, right? And they also have female decoys that can communicate with the bad guy if it comes down that they need phone, and also work the computers. They may not realize it now, but that's going to have it, like, that's trauma. Looking at those images of guys masturbating, looking at child porn kind of thing, and I think I probably just got a shadow banned on YouTube.
We're banned from all the things now. Thanks. No.
But yeah, exactly right. Which, let me tell you, being around these influencers, I did learn a lot. And yeah, we do everything wrong. Just like what you say can kill you and stuff.
Yeah. But what we're talking about is these people who stand in the gap and try to help bring child predators to justice, but they're
Yes,
not law enforcement officers. So then it poses the question, is that good or is that somewhere in between? Is it dangerous? Can we do it better? And then how can we help people like that? You
and
know, because
that's the big part. Um, I think one, we're in a position where I would like to see us be able to bridge the gap with them and the law enforcement a little bit if we can with some of these guys. Uh, but then the other side where I think um, where our nonprofit can really come into play here is nobody's reaching out to these people to make sure resilience training, right? To
yeah, they're okay.
through it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And that I would really like to see us push a little bit.
that'd
However,
be
we can do
cool.
that to make sure that, especially the decoys and the guys meeting with these people, that they have a way of decompressing. That they make sure they're dealing with it okay, and that they
Yeah.
don't realize it 5 to 10 years from now, like, oh, I didn't realize I was having all this built into me.
Exactly. Yeah. Helping them to reset their nervous system and to get back to that kind of zero baseline, if there
Yeah.
is one. A lot of people don't even realize there is a baseline and it's not living up here with anxiety
Exactly.
all the time. Like it actually, we have to turn that down and off to where you're back to your parasympathetic nervous system, to your baseline. Like think when you're in your deep sleep. You guys know this because you talk to me and we talk about this. But if we could help people to turn down their nervous system to where they're more baseline and be present, and then they can process through what they've seen and done and all that. But if you're not present, you will not process it, and it will just be in the back somewhere, and it will come back to you, and it'll accumulate with all the other traumatic stuff,
Exactly.
and be a
Yeah.
mess.
That's not normal to see that stuff, man. And to have that rage in you, there's going to be a consequence to that eventually, and
Yeah,
it's going to build up. And oof, I don't know. I mean, even we've all had our own stuff. If they go through that and not be able to reach across that table, I mean, telling you, I mean, it's just
yeah,
in our DNA to take care of those problems, right? And so to be
yeah.
able to do it and not, that's a lot of self control and discipline, and they got to do it right. We have to help them, right?
Exactly.
So,
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's cool. Well, there is some crossover because those are trauma exposed professionals, and I know there's the ones you just talked about, Matt, that aren't. They're just influencer people trying to set up a scene to get views. That's dangerous.
Yeah, the ones that are
Um,
trying to go out there and be physically violent, I just cannot process that. And
yeah.
I don't know if they are legitimately some of the dumbest people on this planet, but if I could tell you
Mhm.
the number of lives they've impacted, they're literally causing more children to be victim, which how do you justify that in your head? And then
Yeah.
not to mention the guys that are out there doing this right, like Dijon, you're putting him in danger because now that
Mhm.
predator also sees those videos where the person shows up and beats the crap out of them. And
Yeah.
like Eric was saying, now they're even more likely to carry a weapon with them and to do things like that.
Yeah.
They don't want to get jumped. So
Exactly.
you're putting other people's lives in danger. You're
Mhm.
100% getting more kids injured. If you think some guy taking an L by a couple punches or whatever is going to keep him from doing it again, you're even dumber than I just said you
Yeah.
were. So I
Exactly.
could go off on
So
Yep.
let me ask you this, Matt. I know of a certain department. I won't say any, uh, but let's say there was let's say a sex crimes detective that caught another officer in a chat room, but he didn't cross the line, right? But he shouldn't have been there, right? But anyways,
Yeah,
later
you've
on,
already crossed the line, in my opinion, when you're in that
but
chat room.
later on, he did get arrested for that offense, and it was kind of quieted a little bit, and I
Mhm.
wonder if there's some of that stuff that's going on in some of these agencies.
So
It's
that
just
was
not
one of
Yeah.
my
politicians. It's just not, overseas, I mean,
that was one of my
Mhm.
first thoughts too, unfortunately,
yeah.
because I can tell you, I don't know if this is the saddest thing to say ever. I'm not sure a large roundup has ever been done of child predators where you haven't seen politicians, cops, um, firefighters, sorry, Willie, get caught up in it.
There's maybe one. You know,
One bad apple, is that what it is?
yeah, you know, and his dad was, you know, I don't know. We'll just stop there. I'm gonna take my foot out of my mouth and
all
just,
those long ambulance rides in the back with the patient, you know.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
Right. And,
Oh,
it's not just the guys that are on the ground that get caught up in these things. It can be anybody all
mhm.
the way up to sheriff. Um,
Yep.
so,
Yeah,
yeah, I would
exactly.
completely agree with you, Eric. I think that can also have
Yeah.
an effect into it, sadly. Uh,
Back to somebody's job. So the cops might
Yep.
not want it because now we're back to like this threatens us in a way, or maybe
and
there's
multiple.
somebody that they know about, or maybe it's them, you know,
There's
or
some drug guy out there arresting, he's a civilian. He keeps getting all these crack cocaine arrests. You're going to be like, man, this guy's freaking lighting it up. My boss is
yeah,
on.
right. Let's give him a job. And this, I mean, that's what I'll be thinking. Like he's
So,
doing great. How do we help him? Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, that a part of me is like, all right, let's see, how could I do something like what they're doing with my specialty? I could
Right.
go out there and buy drugs instead. That probably won't end well for me.
Oh man, yeah. Be back to undercover dumpster fire real quick. You know. Yeah. No, that's good. Well, I mean, this is near and dear when you talk about kids and you talk about people trying to help prevent their abuse. It tugs at everybody's heartstrings, and our church has a group. We sponsor a group to go. I won't say details, but we sponsor a group to go rescue kids that are in those. They're stuck in child trafficking, usually in other countries, but the U.S. is the worst
Oh, U.S. is number one in the
country.
world. Yeah,
They
Yeah.
hide it right in
So,
front of your face,
100%.
you know?
Yeah, they talk a good
yeah.
game about wanting to, like, and this is another tangent I will go off on
Yeah.
big time. But you hear every politician talk about how they are so against human trafficking and want to do everything to fight it, and that is the biggest bunch of crap I've heard from anybody because none of them do any. Like, this is not something that would be. I'm not saying it'd be easy, but it's doable to at least reduce it significantly. Like,
Mhm.
we spend way more going after the narcotic game, after the dope game, than we do child trafficking. There's not even a comparison.
Right.
And the child trafficking or just human trafficking game is much more profitable now than the drug game. It has overtaken it by a
Mm.
lot. You're
Yeah.
talking well into the $1 billion industry. And
Uh,
the, I
mhm.
am, my
It's
conspiracy
tied into
theory, I'm
porn.
convinced that there
Wow.
are too many very high up people
Yeah.
that would be found guilty or would have their hands
Yeah.
dirty.
Yeah.
Exactly. Where's the Epstein list? Where's the Diddy list? Where's the where are all these things that have all these people's names on it that are famous and, influential? Where
Yeah,
is that? Why is
that's
that not just out there? Like, hey, here's a case of all these people, I'm not saying everyone's guilty that's on that list, those lists, but wow, wouldn't it be nice to have some idea of who can we trust that's in this public eye, and pretty much nobody, but it'd be nice to rule a bunch of people out.
yeah, exactly. Just to see
Probably more
something.
people than you ever realize on that list, man.
Exactly. It probably
Yeah,
goes super
All
deep.
of them? They're all
yeah,
dirty? Like,
every single one.
Everybody's dirty. Oh, here we
I
go. Now everyone's
know.
but child, like, rescuing kids is always the most heart wrenching and heartwarming,
Yeah,
you know? And
That's the one thing we would all do, pretty much, is save a kid, right? I mean, you
yeah,
might think twice about some dude, but this little kid, we would
yeah,
all. That's what
exactly.
separates most of us, from the average.
yeah,
Yeah, we used to
Anyways,
carry a trash bag full of stuffed animals in the fire engine. Every one of them had it, and it
yeah,
was like because somebody died or something was
Did they all
lost, and
say? Did they all have a little shirt on that said "Firefighters are the best"? They did.
yeah,
no, we had like the Goodwill version, like bags from Goodwill with they're
yeah.
pretty nice,
Just the way
I
this kid
actually,
has. I was gonna
I
say he's
used to
got,
carry them around in my trunk.
yeah,
Yeah, we
teddy
didn't have
bear
nice ones.
trauma. Every time he sees a teddy bear, Grandma passed away.
They get another teddy bear. They just have full of teddy bears, tons of trauma, you know. One for every trauma.
No, but yeah, the
Uh,
kids are. I had a child. Almost, I told you this on one cup on a Christmas day. A kid come back to life. A 2-year-old that the paramedics worked back up drowning, and it was, man, that
mm,
was insane. And that's I've seen other people brought back, but the kids is always a tender
No.
spot, right? Especially once you have them, even if you don't. I mean, most
Yeah.
people still care about kids on some level, right? They're little human beings. And
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, showing up. I remember the first time showing up to a baby not breathing, and it looked like a Smurf or something. Like it
wow.
was purple, purple blue looking little baby. Like
And
I
they're
don't
all
know.
looking at you, right?
Yeah, they're like, do something, And then another time, I just walked in, and a sheriff's deputy just threw me an infant, and it wasn't breathing, and I'm like, okay, and
Compensated. Poor,
oh
poor kid.
man,
I mean, I hate to say that, but he probably was so happy to see you walk in the door.
Hold on one second.
yeah.
Captain Humble, thank you, and I will catch up this week. Sorry, she's got to get off, so I want to say something real quick. Appreciate you coming
Oh
in.
yeah. I know I'm bad at comments, y'all. I try to, but if you have questions, just put them in these chats. There's Instagram, there's YouTube going on. I don't know.
So
There's a lot of stuff going on.
that was in LA, Matt. That was all in Los Angeles.
So no,
Oh,
we went. So when the show was over, the first show, Lull by Mike, they flew me up to Sacramento, and then from Sacramento we got a rental car and drove. First we went to Stockton. Okay, so here Stockton, I'm gonna call him out, whatever. But when we went there, this is the guy that we got to agree to go to the police station with us. Uh, that was after the way it goes. Like after they get the conversation going with the guy, and they've got enough and everything is good, they call 911 and ask for a cop. I listened to the call with dispatch, and I immediately knew we weren't getting a cop. Like this is basically all right. Keep in mind they're out with the predator, right? Well, this is a non-emergency. You should have called a non-emergency number. You're out
Yeah.
with a predator. That's not an emergency, apparently, in Stockton, just so everybody is aware of that.
Oh, Stockton, man.
he got a
Yeah.
gun. He got a gun.
Yeah.
I think
We're
he's
gonna-
got a gun. I think he's got a gun in his waistband. I think
That's what. Yeah, he's got a bulge in his waistband. That's all I can say.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
definitely got a bulge.
Yeah, exactly. You got to know the buzzwords, man,
Yeah,
and
then-
say those, drop those dimes.
Yeah, who
You
would
know?
have ever thought being out with a predator isn't enough of a? But then after
Yeah.
you get them to the police station and all that, they had two officers that clearly blew them off, and they ended up waiting like another hour and a half before they were able to talk to somebody with a child predator. So Stockton apparently does not take child predator very seriously. Is all I can
Oh,
say on
well,
that. That was hugely disappointing to me.
Yeah.
Now after that, we did one in Bakersfield Rocks. They got there pretty quickly, and then were basically doing what they should, making sure all because I do not expect any of them to show up and immediately put handcuffs on the guy. That would be absolutely wrong if they did that, because like they respond to any other call. All right, what's the evidence? What's going on? Figure everything out. Once they showed them all the evidence and everything like that, boom, boom, click, click, and the guy was done. That guy was already a registered sex offender on an ankle monitor as well.
of course.
He's hosed all the way around. And then the last one we did was in Long Beach outside of Los Angeles. And that one, unfortunately, the guy took off, got back in his BMW and sped away. But they were already, like they were on the phone. Law enforcement's going to get a warrant for him, it looks like. And so they did a good job too.
Yeah.
And there's another guy out there, Black Biden, who we worked with on that one, and he's done a bunch of them. He's an influencer and still has a pretty big following, but not nearly as big as Dijon. But anyway, he's got was it? He was well over 100 of these that he's gotten locked up.
Wow.
So
That's cool. They're
and
like,
like we were talking earlier, they have started to build connections with DAs and certain people in the
good.
department and some detectives. So I'm hoping that at least with some of the agencies, that gap is getting bridged, and other ones, perfectly honest and perfectly blunt, need to wake up and get with the times. Because all they're doing is getting bad guys off the street. So that's my take on that.
This is one little, I mean, it's LA, so it's a big city. However, it's just one spot. Is there other people that do this? Like where they catch predators?
There are a number, I won't say a number, but there's definitely there's a group of influencers that this is what they do. And it is like, and this is the other thing that people get upset about, like, oh, well, they're making money. Well, yeah, they are. I give 100% they're making money doing this. I'll be honest, everybody I've ever hung out with, Dijon's probably the most famous person I've ever been around. We
yeah.
couldn't go more than 5 feet anywhere we went without young kids, 18 to 20,
Wow.
wanting
Like
a picture with him.
Dijon. Oh,
So like they literally, and he always like super cool guy, like because he always every single time he took a picture with him.
mhm.
But in my opinion, that just goes to show the positive outcome of this, right?
Yeah.
Now kids are seeing it, not young kids, not where it would be, not the kind of thing that they need to watch. But it's basically like, I mean, it's the same as what the Chris Hansen show was. It is literally no different for
Mm.
anybody that's my age that remembers that.
So
Kind of wish I
TV
could
can do
remember
it,
that.
but not regular people. Right?
What's that?
I said TV can do it, but
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's
but
cool, man. I'm not afraid to have people. I think it's cool to have. I'd like to have neighbors like that if they were, like where they have some niche thing that they do to catch child predators. How
yeah,
can I help you do that? Do what you do? Because that's thank you. I have kids. Come on,
exactly.
like that's cool. And whatever they're making money. So what? Who's
Yeah, I
mad?
don't. What does
You
that
know
matter? Like, I mean, at least they're making
why?
money doing something good. I mean,
Yeah, what they could do something bad and make money, or they do something good. They
you
get
could
paid to do something good. That's pretty cool.
you could be a
Like, and
politician that has stocks influence or something. I don't
yeah,
know. You
right.
know what I
yeah,
mean?
No, that's just
exactly.
normal. That's just normal.
Yeah, that's
That's allowed.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, and keep in mind too, especially in Dijon's case, he didn't have to. Um, he didn't have to go down this road. It wasn't until after he had his coming together with Jesus that he started to go down this road. Like he was doing really well just doing the prank stuff, but
Oh,
he
okay.
realized that wasn't benefiting humanity in his opinion. Um,
Oh, he had to
and
get back in a way.
so he
Yeah.
wanted something that he wasn't sure he was going to continue with YouTube.
Mhm.
So
Now,
Yeah.
can I ask one thing? Are they? I know my sex crime guy that I used to talk to a lot said a lot of the problem is they're getting low hanging fruit. They're really not getting the big players in these rings. It's kind of like the neighborhood dirty old man that they're getting. Not that that's not important, right? But you
Yeah.
think that's influencing maybe the agencies and some of the
So if it
morale
is,
to
then
the
I still
department?
have the same opinion of the agency.
I
Knock it
know.
off because it's still somebody like the
I'm
way.
trying.
And this is what I told him that impressed me most. Like what made me feel the best out of this whole thing is I knew the minute cuffs were on him and he was in jail with like especially the one guy that's already on the monitor. I can be guaranteed that there's going to be one less victim. I can be guaranteed, and
Mhm.
actually more than one victim because you also all these guys too were looking at child porn, right? Or CP. Let's call it CP so I don't get banned that bad.
Yeah. We're already
So,
banned.
and people forget this aspect. Yeah, right. People forget this aspect of it too. Is every time a CP picture, is looked at, that's another like that. That's another victimization for that victim, right? Every single time, that's one more person. Uh,
Mhm.
so yeah, I agree. It probably for the most part. Well, he told me about some of the cases that could be coming up, and not all of them are low hanging fruit. But I think if those go through, I think it's harder for them necessarily to get some of the higher fruit because you need more investigative stuff. Like the higher fruit knows what to do and what not to do sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
So it does
It's
make
not
it more
amateur
difficult.
hour. Hmm.
So
Yeah,
and
they use the lower guys sometimes to send up all the information. So.
yeah, kind of yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So
Yeah.
I would imagine for the most part it's somewhat lower level guys or lower fruit, but I'm still that makes no difference to me. It's still
Right.
one less victim, and that's I guess people
Yeah.
I think a lot of times forget that is the objective is to reduce the number of victims. And
Right. How
Yeah.
many victims are they touching too? I mean, you think about it, it's over 100 something, right? Per, you know.
Mhm.
So,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
wow. Thanks,
and
Matt. That's a great Sunday topic after Cops and Campus Sunday.
hey,
I'm here for you guys.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys need, I would say what to help with when you meet people like that and they're in an environment that's toxic because it's around traumatic stuff all day long, including they're having reactions too. It's going to be in the air. You're going to absorb some of that, and to have your own little way to zero out or reset, as I call it. It's all nervous system related stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
I am going to be working with him off and on some. Like he definitely wants to keep me around, so
Yeah.
I do plan on kind of broaching that more, and probably doing an introduction with our team,
Cool.
where we can
Yeah.
kind of go over some stuff with those guys and keep them mentally
Yeah.
safe.
Exactly. It's no different than cops or firefighters. Like, I've been working on this program that doesn't replace critical incident stress management, but it adds it as a precursor. And it can replace, if in my opinion, it could replace. It's all physical. It's not sit down and just look at each other awkwardly in a circle and then try not to cry. That's
Yeah,
what those group debriefings were like for me when I did them. And so, but to be able to physically move and to reset your body and to be present. And then if you need to process, you have that weird circle, or you don't have a circle at all. You just have a talk,
yeah. We can't do a circle with Keto on here because he always takes his shirt off immediately.
I knew we were going there. I was gonna say, do we got to keep our shirt on?
He
Oh,
does.
lightning
He
hit me.
always wants to do that. We'll
Hey,
have a shirtless,
we did yoga
episode.
this weekend, and I don't do a lot of it, but Vance Rowe of Yoga Rescue had when he's talking, and he's a former cop, and he would say, "All right, now you're probably drifting, thinking about the things you got to do today." And I was right there, and he's right, and he's like, come back to where you're at." So you're really right about trying to hold those, when you're decompressing, and maybe the group setting might make you more disciplined to get you going.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, if you normalize it, if you think about this, guys, if we were in a truck, now I'm talking to you, you're over there, if I'm in the passenger, whichever direction, but we don't talk like this usually. We talk sideways, and so if you give guys something to do, and I'm not saying just guys, people who are active, kinesthetic learners, people who are like action oriented type A, first responders, military people, people who are kind of always on the go and problem solvers. If you give them something to do with your hands, Talladega, like and give them something to do with their hands, and then they'll talk. But if you just make them sit there and try to hold still, then it's just adding a barrier, and
Totally,
make it normal.
absolutely.
But we should help them, those folks that are doing that kind of stuff, and teach them how to reset their nervous system and how
Yeah,
to like unpack some of the trauma stuff so they don't end up an undercover dumpster fire if they aren't one
exactly.
already. You
Yep.
know,
Yeah.
um, what do you
Completely.
guys do to decompress with all of the stresses and the reminders? And you guys have been through all kinds of stuff.
What do you do,
Um,
Matt? I do a lot of it with diet and nutrition, and slowing things down. Because we've been going since we've been. You play ball too. Always going, scheduling, go, go, go. So that's one of the things I got to battle is slowing things down every day. You know?
Yeah, to work at slowing down.
I mean,
Yep.
they go. Mine's multitude because I need obviously different things to get me through. Meditation has become extremely important to me, and usually a lot of like the Willie. I'm going to say this wrong, and you can hopefully correct. Like the breathing meditation, like breathing techniques with your meditation.
Yeah.
That's really really important to me. And then obviously working out, and like Eric eating healthy um, gives
Yeah.
me kind of something to also focus on. And then one of the things that drew me back to acting is that's actually very big for me.
Yeah.
Just to go into other characters and do that kind of thing and let that imagination just go.
It's
That,
creativity, man. You're into the art of when you're in acting or you're in music or you're creating or building something, you're into that creative space. You're into the spot where you have to be present, and you probably are.
yeah,
And the goal with acting, right, is to be present, be there. Don't come with all of the stress of being an actor. Like you just stood there for 8 hours, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Ready, go!" And then you're like, "Okay, no,
What do I
all right."
say?
yeah. I got to
It's
have a
your
lot of
gift.
fun yesterday. But for the movie I did yesterday, I was a casting director who was quite confident in himself, and basically he was the Sam, like the Cheers Sam Malone.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that's how I kind of modeled the character. Like when I was creating him, that's who I went with. And that's the kind of guy he is, like with all the pickup lines and all that kind of thing that sound all corny. So it was like I've never, I always get cast for like serious type roles, so to get to play this was pretty cool.
That's cool. Yeah. No, I like that. Well, I'd just say with an as because we are actors in this, but we're being real right now, and we have our presences online or whatever. I'm taking 6 months off, by the way, if you guys didn't know. So if you message me on Instagram or Facebook or something, I probably will see it in a while. But but as far as the process goes, though, every day try to build something, create something. That's my goal, and it could be anything. Right now, it's a business. I'm like rebuilding things that were broken or that I tried before, and like every day though to create something. And there's earlier, this is nice too, because if you have a way to reset your nervous system, you can experiment. Like today was going out in the ocean and diving down, touching the ground or touching the bottom of the ocean, coming back up, swimming back, and just do that a bunch of times, focus on my breathing. And man, I came back and took a nap. Like I don't ever take a nap. And it was like that's what we need. We need those things that like get you back to like, can you take a nap? I took
Yeah.
a 2.5 hour nap.
Oh, that's a nice nap.
That was a
Yeah.
great one, you know? So anyway, we need
I
that
call
though.
that overnight
Rest.
sleep. Right.
Yep. But if you have ways to do it though, like sometimes it might be a mountain bike and you're flowing through trails. Sometimes it might be on a horse and you're just plodding along. Sometimes it might be with your dog and you're hanging out, you know? And the
Right.
dogs are always present.
John just
2200.
Rambo just said he takes an old person nap every day, but I don't know if that can count because when a nursing home requires you to take that nap, it doesn't. I feel like that shouldn't count.
Yep.
Tell him they put stuff in the pudding that helps him sleep.
Yep. I'm just saying no dirt naps though, you know, like we're not going to take those yet. And that's at the end,
That's
you
that's the,
know,
that's the final. That's the
when
final.
you finally take a nap forever until,
So,
you know, next
Matt,
next
I was telling Willie earlier, I'm doing a 2,200 push-up challenge for July for the every 22 seconds. You know that commits. You know, blah blah. I hate saying it all the time, but that resets my every. I have to do 72 a day, which doesn't sound like a lot until it's 9 o'clock
Yeah.
at night, and you're like, "Damn, I'm like 50 behind." And then you wake up, you're like, "How am I gonna go to bed now?"
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm getting in that academy lean because I'm doing it every day. It's just
Yeah.
becoming
Just push
routine.
ups.
Yeah,
Hey, I was
just
thinking of something that we also need to do in the future here. Um,
Mhm.
getting. Well, you got a nice storm going on
Fitness.
there, kiddo.
yeah.
But
Sorry.
all right, I'm good. I am good.
Yeah.
We need to get a group together, and not for time, not to try to kill it, but to do a spark um, as a team of like a mental health awareness team.
Yeah.
A bunch of us going it. I
Yeah.
think it would be actually a really cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe have a
I
couple
just
cameras like off of one of the events, and let's see if we can line them up close to each other.
heck
Uh,
yeah.
but also on that note, because we're running out of time and I haven't gotten to hear about it, I want to hear about cops and campers this weekend, man.
We had Dr. Robert killed. Oh my God! Now the storm's caving in on us. Well, it's a good thing the rain came today. The last 3 days we had campfires and we met different cops. Oh, now the thunder's rolling in. All right, this is part of my acting role. All right.
Hey, you're not going to get hit by lightning, are you? 'Cause,
No,
I mean,
We're
we
gonna
might go
watch it.
viral if that happens, but I feel like it'd be bad.
Keto on electricity.
But anyways, we had a bunch of, we had yoga in the morning, they had the swimming pool, a lot of kids and families were able, like he was saying,
Yeah.
slow things down, let their kids wander around without being worried about them getting hit by cars or traffic, I mean, maybe a golf cart, I got probably a fireman driving and not paying attention. But no, we ended up
Probably.
having metabolic health talks. We talked about, tragedy, good things, and then we end the whole weekend off with a concert by a bunch of retired cops. And man, next year's year 5, maybe if this pavilion's still here.
5. Yeah. He's gonna blow away. You should stand there with the wind blowing, like try to, like sell it.
Hey Willie, what's the Instagram handle or whatever they can go to for Cops and Campers?
Cops and yeah, cops and campers. What's the handle?
Oh, at Cops and Campers.
At cops and campers. All right. Yeah.
Hey,
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
fellas. It's getting really bad.
yeah, that's why I wanted to get that out there real quick because we'll call it because I don't want to see you get nailed.
Hey, I'm gonna put. All right, I put it on Instagram. I was able to link Instagram today for the.
Oh, so you actually get to this time, even though I don't. That's real fair.
Yeah, and thank you, y'all who are watching on Instagram. Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. These are two retired undercover detectives, and there's only one firefighter because one firefighter equals two cops. Well, I don't get any reaction.
Hey, we need a paramedic in the fold, though. We need you, man. So.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get banned for false information. That's a great.
Yeah. Yep. But hey, and we also, let me just recap because we talked about you going out to LA. We talked about you meeting up with Deshaun, and who is then standing in the gap, catching child predators and then turning them over to cops. He's caught 88 of them, and there's other people like him. And we were talking about how we can help them reset their nervous systems to help them continue to do what they do. When you're trauma exposed, you got to do that every day. And
it's Digian. That's how I'm supposed
Digian.
to
Digian?
Digian.
So we're gonna need we'll need his Instagram stuff and all that, YouTube.
Yeah, actually just type in Digion, I believe.
Yeah,
and it pops up right away. He's got millions. Like you'll see him, tons of followers.
Okay, gotcha. And then also Cops and Campers, which we can't really hear, but I know Eric has been there all weekend up in New York. And that's a weekend where a bunch of cops and firefighters also were there, I heard. Get to get
Dispatchers, we got it all.
Dispatchers.
Nice. Awesome.
Yep, there was bagpipes. There's a band.
Yeah.
You guys got a band?
So,
yeah.
Full disclosure. All right, so because everybody here doesn't know this, we have a little group text amongst the three of us. Well, actually four because Brittany's in it too. And so we have a lot of smart aleck comments usually that go in there. But today, Keto decides to go a different route, and he put somebody playing the bagpipes on there, which I do not do well with. As soon as I hear the bagpipes, the tears come. Yeah, immediately. So I was real appreciative of you sending that right before the show, Eric. That was great.
Yep. If we have I like the drums though. If we put a band together, I want to play the drums. I want like the big ones, like the boosh, or the, I don't even know, snare drum.
The bongos.
There we go. We can do an island version. Do an island version.
I'll do the cowbell. I got the cowbell.
Little tambourine action.
Exactly. Yep.
More cowbell. Yep. We need more cowbell. We can have everyone else can have cowbells. We could put a band together. Let's do it. And Cops and Campers, Florida edition.
There we go.
Play acoustic.
Yep.
Down there in the Keys.
That's right. Yeah. Well, so is anybody else have any questions? Is there any questions? Do we want to cover anything, or did we cover everything tonight already?
We did. I think we did good. This was a good episode. I like this. I think we have to.
Yeah.
I'll try and space it out a little bit more, where we do some just the three of us, and then putting guests in. Because I do like it when the three of us get to talk and pick on each other. Band of brothers.
Yeah, John is too. I know. And hey, and anybody, John included, we have lots of content for you all. It's just we actually do need. What I'm doing here is we do need a production assistant. We need somebody to help with video stuff. And I mean, I'm a big picture person, and I can get stuff going. We're flying a plane and we're building it at the same time. So I kind of got a steering wheel. We got one wing.
Crashed like 50 times. So
yeah, we have a bit of a motor. We don't have a pilot. We're missing a lot of parts. But we're flying anyway. And so if somebody's open to like YouTube and Instagram, all that stuff, being able to put out material that we create, then let me know, or let Matt or Eric know, because it actually will be an official internship site. And so somebody who's like really wanting to get into this kind of business of production, because we have other stuff going on too. We have Roll Call TV coming up that we haven't even talked about really, which is a comedy show, a TV show that me and Matt, and we're pulling in Eric too.
Yeah,
He
that's
doesn't
a
know it yet.
no-brainer. I mean,
Yeah,
every show has to have an old person on it. So I mean, how can
he
we
could
not?
be the chief, man. He could be.
Wait,
He's
wait,
the
wait, wait. Hold on. We are pulling him in, and he's the fire chief right there. Boom.
He's, he's got a
I can
beard.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. But Roll Call TV coming up, that's going to be interesting.
That's gonna be fun.
And we'll film that. Yeah, so just kind of know, if you know anybody who likes to do kind of publication, content creation slash
Editing.
editing, wants to work with other actors and directors and stuff like that, then let us know, because we need help. It's a
Yeah.
nonprofit. If you guys didn't know, Undercover Dumpster Fire is a 501c3. It's in good standing. And we don't take donations yet. It's all in kind. We're all donating. But this is a real thing. And so there's opportunities for people to grow, and we're looking for people that could help with the media side of things. So help me out.
Please, please.
Yeah. Please
All
and
right.
thank you. All right, let's go.
On it.
Yep.
Guys,
We'll see
awesome
y'all
as
next week.
always, and I will see you all next week. I think I gotta look at the schedule, but I don't think I can make it. It'll probably be a guest next week. I'm pretty confident. And I still gotta get.
next week. I'll let you know the phone.
Yeah. If Eric's not here next week,
We'll know.
he might not be around anymore.
Yep.
It'll be cops and canoes.
Just campers. It's back to just campers. All right, fellas.
All right,
see
everybody have a great
y'all.
night. Thank you all so much.
Yep.
See you next week.
Mhm.
Later.
Yep. See you later.